Hey you guys, it's Jet888 and I just wanted to post something real quick about the DaiIy Pass. This is March 1st and I don't know if this is the logo. It might just be for Los Angeles School District logo, but they are using this as the DaiIy Pass logo, and I just want to bring some things to your attention. Of course, it's the circle. They always have to have their circular little rituals, and if you look on the right side, there's the sun, and you look on the bottom left quarter, there's the sun. And notice how there's 4 little sun rays in each one, 4 sun rays, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right side, and on the bottom left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here, do you notice the 4 stars on the left and 4 stars on the right? Now first I should probably explain what the Operation Warp Speed is if no one is familiar with it, but it's a public-private partnership initiated by the U.S. government to facilitate and accelerate the development, manufacturing, and distribution of the COVID-19 vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. So the first news report of Operation Warp Speed was April 29th, that's 4/29/4/11. And let's see, the program was officially announced May 15th, so that's 5/15. So the 4 rays on either side of this logo, there's 4 points of that sun, and there's 4 stars on either side of this round logo. So here, child in Jewish gematria equals 44, MCIA equals 44, ray is 44 in simple gematria. Hidden, mask, cancer are also all 44. So also, if we look at that December ID, which is also, the value is also 44. It just happens to also equal, if you look at the anagram of December ID, dead mice. That's what they got when they tested this vaccine. I also find it interesting that the Los Angeles unified the DaiIy Pass for this whole school thing. Here's that guy what's his name? Yeah, there he is, Austin Butner. Notice how they started on a football field, and remember the kickoff at the Super Bowl 55? That was on a football field with Pepsi and Geico all sponsored that. We've seen Pepsi, the anagram is pipes. So here we've got Microsoft people who, they're not in the medical field, are they? So it's kind of interesting that they want to push this DaiIy Pass. So the DaiIy Pass is to get the kids to test and then document that they've passed their little COVID test. And I don't know if any of you guys have done your research, but getting tested for this isn't good. I don't know who she is, but that must be just some kid. Oh, then you got to print it out and you got to take it to school, then you're all good to go. Yep, look, she's good to go. Get on that school bus with your mask, and they all feel safe. But I wanted to show you a little bit more about this. Oh, here's that cityscape that we also saw. We saw the cityscape in the Super Bowl 55. Remember that? Remember the Super Bowl? They had this cityscape. So the anagram to cityscape, just one, is Sia septic. And I don't know if any of you all have heard about how they're going to start tracing people's septic output, their poop basically, and they're going to test the neighborhoods to see if the people are shedding their viruses. So when you want to look at cityscape, and there's the Sia septic, and you have a lot of these project pipelines going on in the cities. If you pay attention, you'll see the infrastructure. They're digging and placing pipes in the roadways and the septic systems. So here's project pipeline is inject people, RIP. So here, for instance, in my local area, Here's Sweetwater Pipeline Replacement Project. They called it Pipeline Project. Here's just one image of one day when I went to go look at the work they're doing. So I just happened to look around for pipeline projects and all that, and I did come across this. The address here is nap.edu, so it's education, /read/11/241/chapter 2. So it's funny that the 11 is there also. The water management in the United States and Iran. Now, why would they have, that's weird. And look, by Henry Vax. So they talk about periodic droughts in times of water scarcity. So that's one lie, because they don't tell you about primary water that this world provides. They always is making water. Hydrogen, oxygen, pressure makes water. So they talk about the urbanization of southwest continues of the cities. And look here, so they talk about Albuquerque, Denver, Las Vegas, Los Angeles. They mention Phoenix, and I'll get to that in a little while, but they're pushing the belief system of the problem of scarcity. And jump into the very, very last part of this, the need to manage groundwater sustainability. You know, if they were really interested in sustainability and groundwater and the fact that it's not being toxic, they'd probably stop fracking, because they shove chemicals into the water system to break down the ground. But anyhow, that's another story. So, and again, they have to continue with additional research, and technical innovation will be needed if consumptive and non-consumptive uses are to be fully understood and managed effectively. Of course, more research. And we're the guinea pigs, like those dead mice. And next on their list is overview of water management in Iran. That's weird. Why Iran and the United States? And the 500 Fifth Street, Washington, D.C. So like the Super Bowl 55, they love the 55 and 5 numbers, because 5 equals V. And of course there's only 17 pages in this document, because 17 spelled out is NWO. So this talks about Los Angeles schools to launch DaiIy Pass health check system. NBC Los Angeles. So it's February 22nd. They show a school hallway, not quite checkerboard. This says the Los Angeles Unified School District introduced Monday the launch of DaiIy Pass, the primary complete system within the nation that coordinates well-being checks. Those exams and vaccinations in a single online instrument. And it's interesting too, because you just go down here, and here they're pouring Coca-Cola down the toilet, because Coca-Cola is so acidic that it can clean a toilet bowl. But I find it interesting that they have that in this ad for DaiIy Pass. But anyhow, that water management in the United States and Iran by Henry Vax. And that's also kind of weird. I was thinking the water management in the United States and Iran water. Well, first of all, NAP. They're probably going to put everyone to sleep with all the drugs, and the gassing. But 11/241, and looking at 11, and 11 is AI for artificial intelligence. I think some of that just cut off. I'm sorry if that video just cut off. But so here's DaiIy Pass. When you look at part of the anagram, it's day sell. So the entire anagram is PS day sell, and day sell is to sell a yacht for a single day. I looked at the word yacht, and it's HY act, or HY act. HY equals Bill and Melinda Gates. Imagine that. How convenient. So looking at this DaiIy Pass logo from Microsoft, look at the pencil also, and look at, doesn't that look like two towers that are in the pencil? So there we go, we got the pencil and the towers. Worst winter is, so Twin Towers is our worst winter. So I'm not going to get totally into this deep right now. I'll cover it in another video, but this is the halftime show where the Weekend guy was singing. And the Geico was one of the sponsors. That shows Pepsi, and we show that with Grateful Dead. In one of my videos, we decoded that. But they had some creepy violinist playing in this little cityscape thing. Like trying to fly up to heaven or something, I don't know. So, like I've covered before, some of the Geico was the sponsor in this, and I'm going to go over this in another video. But just looking at this real quickly, they talk about here in Geico, and I'm just looking at this guy and looking at his name real quickly, the Warren Buffett, Renature, WB, that could be Warner Brothers, I don't know, but WBFFT, you look at that, the gematria, it's the true Antichrist name, vaccine, on air, Bible code, and that also equals Black Mamba. But when I dug a little bit further regarding the published author, took me to this, took me to this. I went to High Violin Stun, and we saw all the violins at the Super Bowl halftime show. And I kept seeing the violin, and these are some of the anagrams. Oh, and again, I'm going to cover this later, but this whole university union overhunts fill-ins, but High Violin Stun Unruly. And High talks about electronic health information exchange, and that seems kind of like what's going on with the DaiIy Pass. And High is to strive or to hasten. Also, it's looks like hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy is also high, and that's oxygen deprivation and limited blood flow. Newborn brain damage. I got the anagrams here, which are going to be, again, I'll cover it later in another video. But is that Rue? I don't know how to say it, but it's a street fighters. And they always say that things are fictional just to cover their arses. So remember how this little satanic ritual was done at the Raymond James Stadium, right? Raymond. Gates's father's name was Raymond also. You can look at the anagram. Y Rodman is the anagram, or Raymond is the anagram is Y Rodman. Y is father of light, which is Lucifer. And it's also, Y is also patriot. Magic storm, FEMA, behead. So I'm just going to go run back to this Henry Vax regarding the water management conservation, just because it's all tied up. Because the way they're trying to trace everyone, they're going to be rounding up neighborhoods because they're going to be looking for this shedding of the virus in our pipeline systems. But anyhow, this Henry Vax Jr., when I looked at his name, the anagram is Raven Jury RX. Remember we saw the Ka earlier? And ravens, you know, the crows and ravens, it's a murder. The flock is called a murder. So Murder Jury RX. So here's the gematria, 380 and 42 is RX. And the 380 is Son of Light and Global Reset. And the 42 is Mr. K. That's Raymond Kosicha, and I'll tell you about his name later. YMCA, I didn't mean to get that in there, but also Iran. And this is the last thing I'm going to go over. But remember when they mentioned the DaiIy Pass is also going to deal with Phoenix? And here's the Monarch. Here's a document I saw. Monarch, the new Phoenix program. This talks about mind control in America, CIA, NSA transmissions on citizens. So this talks about corruption and control of the globe. Now this mentions the Vietnam War and what they learned from it, and the CIA, the personnel involved, and all that, and I will leave you the link to this. So I'm going to jump down a little bit. It says, let's see, where am I? Worked well with the blueprint for the current black op, targeting thousands of loyal Americans using state-of-the-art microwave and radio frequency radiation weapons. That's RFR weapons. The motivation to suppress domestic dissidents and to assassinate loyal American opposition stems from the perception of dissent against the war as treason. This philosophy is stated very clearly in the Mind War paper written by NSA General Aquino. The DoD, that's Department of Defense, has a huge stake in futuristic technology that kills by ionizing and non-ionizing radiation, leaving little or no trace. That's your plausible deniability. The indiscriminate killing of the Phoenix program continues on American soil. The terms soft kill, slow kill, and silence kill refer to the new way of killing the enemy in conflicts short of war and the small wars of the future, like, injections. The counterinsurgency doctrine has now been applied to the home front so that the perceived betrayal of the military in Vietnam will not be repeated. The generation of CIA and military intelligence led by Shackley, Helms, Casey, Abrams, Singlab, Secord, John B. Alexander, Michael Aquino, Paul Valley, and others have built the perfect beast, using selective assassination that leaves no trace. The ability to cull the human herd with silent kill technology allows a few personalities to remake the entire society in their own image. Extremely low frequencies ELF technology kills with ionizing and non-ionizing radiation or slowly drives the target crazy with silent sound. Similar to CIA MK Ultra psychiatrist Ewan Cameron's psychic driving technique used to break down the target's personality. The new buzzwords as a Pentagon are silent kill, synthetic telepathy, and psychotronics. Another means of attack on targets is the Smirnoff patent that uses subliminal suggestion to manipulate human behavior. This patent was purchased by the remote viewing company SciTech Corporation. Military intelligence officers involved in developing these non-lethal weapons include Colonel John B. Alexander, and it talks about all these people, and I'm going to leave you the link. But everything they're showing us, they kicked off this ritual at the Super Bowl, and I've showed this. I'm going to keep showing it because I think people need to kind of wake up a little bit to what's happening. Does anybody remember when I mentioned this part of the Super Bowl? The history of it, but and also Moderna is Rod Oman. So Moderna, who's doing some of the vaccinations, their anagram Ray Oman, and the Super Bowl was at the James Raymond Stadium, or is it Raymond James Stadium? I can't remember, but Raymond is mini Rod, and what we're going to be dealing with is the wires and the technology of the 5G and more of a energy weapon takedown, which is what this new Phoenix program mentioned about the extreme low frequency technology. I'm going to get into this later, but I just wanted to get this out tonight, and I'll give you the link to this. I'll just finish up by reading this. So this says, Alexandra also is intrigued by the possibility of using electronic means to modify behavior. The dilemma of war on terrorism, he notes, is that it never ends. So what do you do with enemies, which we are being considered enemies of the state, such as those in Guantanamo? He talks about behavior modification can be alternative. Maybe I can fix you electronically, neuter you. So it's safe to release you into society so you won't come back and kill me, Alexander says. It's only a matter of time before technology allows that scenario to come true. So that's probably where Microsoft is coming in. And that's funny because his name, Austin Butner, whatever, Entertain You Bus. Remember those kids we saw coming in on the bus to get their little DaiIy Pass? And there's Gates Stage, and this guy's going to entertain you. So put it all together, you guys. I don't think it's a good thing coming on. Say no to the DaiIy Pass. Protect your children.